So there was a news story that I saw the other night that's going to be of particular importance to you if you ride a motorcycle. So stay tuned so you don't mess up your motorcycle with these proposed changes. Gas prices are a burden to everybody right now. I live in Texas and fuel prices have stayed around the national average, but even at the national average, I put almost $80 worth of gas in my truck the other day just to fill it up. If the prices stay high, you might start seeing payday load shops and other shady businesses popping up right next to the gas station just so people can afford to fill up their tanks. But usually, before people start selling off body parts, they consider other ways to reduce their fuel expenses. One way they often do this is by purchasing a motorcycle. Motorcycles do generally get better fuel mileage than a full-size vehicle, but it really depends on what motorcycle you buy and also how you ride it. My Gullwing in the background there has a 6-cylinder engine in it that's about the same size as the engine in my daughter's Nissan Sentra. Of course, engine size is not the only consideration. It affects fuel economy, the overall weight of the vehicle, how aerodynamic it is, and other factors have a big impact on the fuel economy. Other costs weigh into your decision as well. If you're buying a motorcycle purely to save money, you have to figure in the extra insurance costs, especially if you're going to own a car and a motorcycle at the same time. You have to figure in the cost of purchasing the riding gear, and motorcycles generally require more maintenance than a car. The tires don't last as long, and the list goes on of the expenses that can come up with motorcycle ownership. Now, I don't want to discourage anyone from buying a motorcycle, but buying your dream Harley to save money might help convince your significant other to allow you to get the motorcycle, but your pocketbook will be harder to convince once you add up all the numbers. So this leads us to another important item, and that's what's in the news right now. President Biden recently announced plans to make E15 fuel more available to increase consumer choice and ultimately bring down the price of fuel. For motorcyclists, this has some important consequences. First, what is E15 fuel? Well, E15 is a mixture of 85% pure gasoline and 15% ethanol. We've had E10 around for a while. It's widely available, and it may contain up to 10% ethanol. You'll see that on the gas pumps. So E15 is a 50% increase in the amount of ethanol per gallon of gas. That extra ethanol makes a big difference to motorcycles, so make sure and pay careful attention. For motorcycles, E15 will reduce performance and fuel mileage, and fuel mileage is why a lot of people are buying motorcycles right now. E15 is more likely to absorb water, which will further reduce efficiency, and it causes problems with the motorcycle's engine. E15 will increase engine and exhaust temperature. It will cause corrosion of the metal parts in the fuel system, and it will damage fuel lines and gaskets in motorcycle engines. As you can see, E15 is not a viable solution for motorcycle riders, and it should be avoided. In fact, some manufacturers will void your warranty if E15 fuel is found in the system. In the past, E15 was not widely available at the pump because it was not available all year long. It was only available during the winter. So many gas station owners didn't transition their tanks to E15 or purchased additional signage for E15 because the cost to set up for that fuel that was only going to be available during the winter was too high, so a lot of stations bypassed setting up for E15. Now, President Biden is making E15 fuel regularly available all year long, and that will reduce the cost to station owners to carry it. It might reduce the availability of E10 and may even eliminate the availability of pure gasoline, all bad signs for motorcycle owners. Now, before you think a lot of stations won't transition over, there will be pressure on stations to carry E15 fuel. If the station down the street advertises fuel that's 10 to 15 cents a gallon cheaper than you are because that station has E15 fuel, there'll be pressure on all the other stations in that area to carry the product and not lose customers. So, as E15 fuel becomes more regularly available, it will be up to the motorcycle owner to know for sure the blend of gasoline they're putting in their motorcycle and use caution when filling up. Just one more thing to think about. If you ride or plan to ride, make sure you're aware of the fuel that's going into your tank. Motorcycles have always run better on pure gas over E10, but pure gas is hard to find right now since E10 has become available. E10 is not terribly harmful to motorcycles, but E15 changes that, so rider beware. Maybe I'm just a dreamer, but it's just too bad there are no other ways to lower gas prices and streamline energy production in this country. It sure would be nice to have a little less regulation. I know maybe we could focus on energy production at home. It would make us more energy independent, so a war in Europe would have less economic impact on us. And maybe we could even do something crazy like building a pipeline that would allow oil to flow freely from the north. That would bring oil quicker to market, it would lower the cost, and it would increase national security by making us more energy independent. Well, we can all dream, can't we? And until then, read the fine print at the pump, know what you're putting in your motorcycle, and avoid using that E15 fuel to save 10 cents a gallon at the pump. Your motorcycle will thank you. It will run much better, and you won't potentially void your warranty by putting in the wrong fuel. Till next week, guys, it's Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road.